Welcome to the evergreen heart of the Nine Worlds and the myth and silencing of the Word Witch. Stay tuned to the end of the video to hear a nice little message from Lilith as a warning to the Word Witch. In whispers we govern, through the elements we obscure, in static we command, in nightmares we pursue. We are earth and air, we are fire and water, we are the remembered, we are the returned, we are the whispers. In silence we thrive, in whispers you fall, united we stand. This is going to be a tale of the green light that permeates existence. At the heart of all things stands the mighty ash, the Yggdrasil. Its roots delve into the darkest realms of the underworld, while its branches hold the nine worlds in their embrace, and its green leaves forever shimmer in the sky. The three Norns whom at the base of the ash, Udir, Verdandi, and Skold, who weave the destinies of all beings. They tend to the tree with water and clay from the well of Udur, and with every drop they cast, the tree shimmers with a fresh life-giving green light at 520 to 565 nanometers. This green light is the very essence of life, growth, and fate itself. The seasons and cycles that are in the world of men, Midgard, the green light is seasonal. In winter, the light retreats to the innermost bark of the Yggdrasil, hidden and preserved. But with the return of Freyr, the god of spring and fertility, the green light surges outward once more, painting the fields and forests with a new life. With Ragnarok and renewal as the world approaches Ragnarok, the green light of Yggdrasil begins to fade. The tree itself groans under the strain of the final battle. Yet even as the world is consumed by the fires of Sutir, the great ash withers, its essence does not die. A single green shoot, a remnant of verdant life, persists. The new green earth then raises. From the ashes of Ragnarok, the sea recedes. A new green land emerges. A man and a woman, Lif and Lifprasir, who hid the wood of Yggdrasil, emerge to repopulate the earth. They are sustained by the morning dew and the promise of a renewal land. Infused with the reborn green light of the cosmic tree, thus the 520 to 565 nanometer wavelength symbolizes not a simple color, but the eternal cycle of creation, decay, and rebirth within the very fabric of existence. We've got a Mercury sextile Jupiter as the whisper of Hugin. Now, in Norse lore, a Mercury sextile Jupiter in the 6th house can be interpreted as an auspicious alignment between Odin, the all-wise Sky Father, and his ravens. Hugin, which represents thought, and Munin, which represents memory, working in harmonious and practical cooperation to improve the daily life of the Viking homestead. The 6th house is the domain of service, health, and daily routines, making it perfect for setting it for a grounded rather than pure lofty manifestations of divine wisdom. This lore can be explored through a metaphorical tale, the story of the mead of practical knowledge. In a Viking steading, there was a huskarl, a loyal, free retainer, known for his thoughtful plans and robust health, the envy of his neighbors. His success came not from great battles, but from his steady daily work and his practical solutions to ever-present challenges for long winter. The other villagers, baffled by his consistent good fortune, whispered of a secret blessing. Unbeknownst to them, the huskarl's mind was visited daily by a whisper from Odin himself, but not the thunderous pronouncements heard by kings. Instead, it was a gentle yet powerful guidance from the twin ravens, Hugin and Munin, who served Odin. Mercury, as Hugin, thought. On the huskarl's shoulder would alight Hugin, the personification of Mercury's swift intellect. He would whisper inventive ideas and quick solutions, like how to arrange the stored firewood to better catch the sun, or how to craft a new tool for more efficient farming. Hugin was then quick-witted, problem-solving, intelligent, that found clever ways to simplify work, based on efficiency. Jupiter, however, as Munin, memory, hovering above the roof of the longhouse, Munin, the incarnation of Jupiter's expansive wisdom, watched over the homestead. Munin would remind the Huscarls of lessons learned long ago and insights gleaned from ancestral knowledge, passed down through the sagas. This was the wisdom of experience, knowing the right time to sow, when a storm was brewing, and the bigger picture of the land's cycles. Now, with the sixth house as the steed, the sixth house is the Huscarl's homestead, the hearth and his everyday service to his community. It's the physical manifestation of his well-tended home, his overflowing grain stores, and the good health of his family and livestock. The sextile, a harmonious aspect, meant that the information from Hugin and the wisdom from Munin worked together smoothly like a well-oiled machine. Thus begins the blessings of the gods. The Huscarl's success wasn't a windfall from the gods, but a reward for his honest toil. The sextoil for the all-seeing, all-knowing Odin meant his mental and philosophical tools were perfectly suited for his daily earthly work. The tale, therefore, is not of a hero with a magical weapon, but of a man who listens to the whisper of the wisdom. Using thought and memory to forge a better life, one core at a time, the Huscarl proved the divine blessing was not always found in glory on the battlefield, but in the intelligent and consistent application of everyday skill. We have Mercury opposition at North Node with the tale, the Raven's Scorn, and the Call of the Great Hall. A Mercury opposition to the North Node in the 11th house can be interpreted through the lens of Odin's ravens, Hugin as thought, and Munin as memory, once again, and the community of the Great Hall. This mystic alignment describes a deep-seated inner conflict where one's habitual way of thinking and communicating, Mercury, is fundamentally at odds with their fated path towards communal belonging and a higher social purpose, North Node in the 11th house. This is the tale of a Viking warrior haunted by his own mind. The curse of the clever tongue. There was once a warrior who was not known for his strength in battle, but for the sharpness of his wit. His mind, Mercury, was as quick as Hugin, Odin's raven of thought, and his tongue was as bitter as a winter wind. He could find the flaw in any grand plan or dissect the failings of any ally. In his heart, he believed his cleverness was his greatest asset, inherited from a long line of witty and cunning warriors, the South Node in the 5th house of individual expression and creation ego. But this cleverness became a curse. When the other warriors of the Great Hall, the 11th house, would gather to plan a raid or celebrate a feast, he would see only their weaknesses. He would whisper criticism to his neighbor, finding fault with the chieftain's strategy or mocking the sagas sung by the skalds. The others thought they might chuckle at his wit, began to feel the cold poison of his words. The whispers for the world beyond this warrior's fate, woven by the Norns, was not to be a solitary hero, but to unite his voice with the communal chorus of the Great Hall, the North Node in the 11th house. His destiny was to learn the value of shared purpose and to forge new bonds of camaraderie using his sharp mind for the benefit of the group. Yet, this path felt unfamiliar and deeply uncomfortable. He stubbornly clung to his old patterns in the South Node. The more he withdrew, finding fault and sowing dissent, the louder the whispers of destiny became. These whispers, like the faint calls of the Munin from a faraway land, reminded him that his isolated brilliance was a hollow victory. The final reckoning leads us to the conflict, which is the opposition, which came to the head when the Great Hall was threatened by a rival clan. All of the warriors were called upon to contribute with their skills. The cynical warrior, however, offered only his usual biting commentary, questioning the bravery of his brothers and forecasting a swift defeat. His words spread doubt like a sickness, and the other warriors' resolve began a falter. Then a respected elder of the hall stepped forward. "Your words are clever like Raven," he said, "but they are not wise. They feast on the dying courage of our people. A single spear is a fine thing, but a shield wall is a great thing." With this, the warrior was forced to face the harsh truth of his position. He saw that his sharp mind, so long focused on tearing down, had alienated him from the very community that held his future. The opposition had become undeniable. His individual brilliance was in direct conflict with his fated purpose to be a part of something greater. To find his place, he would have to silence that part of his mind that spoke only of flaws and instead learn to use his thoughts to build and to support. His journey was not to gain a new skill, but to reforge the purpose of his mind itself, and in doing so, finally take rightful place among his kinsmen. We got Mercury sextile Lilith as the serpent's silent words. In the vast encircling ocean of Midgard dwells Jormungandr, the immense world serpent, exiled to the depths by the gods. He is a creature of raw, untamable nature, a dark, hidden truth that Odin and the Aesir attempted to suppress and control. Jormungandr is the primal, wild, and outcast aspect of existence that Lilith represents, the subconscious shadow that defies all order. His father, the trickster god Loki, is the quick-witted master of words and cunning intellect. Akin to Mercury, though, the gods believed they had separated Loki's mind from his monstrous offspring. Their connection ran deeper than the ocean itself. The secret understanding with the sextile aspect between Mercury and Lilith, signifying a subtle, harmonious flow of information between these two seemingly disparate forces. It's like when a parent and their kid have a telepathic connection, there is no breaking that bond. There will always be that undeniable connection. Okay, where was I? Hold on. Anyways. While no mortal ear could hear Jormungandr's voice, Loki, in his mischievous and perceptive ways, could sense the serpent's silent communication from the depths. Loki's insight leads Loki to receive flashes of uncanny insight, not through spoken words, but through the psychic resonance of his child. This information would come to him as powerful nonverbal impressions from the unconscious world, the 12th house. He would know things that others could not, sensing the hidden currents of destiny and the deep buried truth that Jormungandr's presence revealed. The unspoken truth unveils Jormungandr, in turn, would feel his father's mental acuity resonating through the water. The serpent's own raw, untamed wisdom, a form of intuitive knowledge about boundaries, cycles, and primal chaos, would find a receptive channel in Loki's mind. The sextile enabled Loki to comprehend the nature of the inevitable, understanding that the serpent was not just a destructive force, but an agent of transformation required for the world's end and a rebirth at Ragnarok, or resurrection, if you will. Now, the hidden knowledge of the 12th house, whereas the 12th house represents what is hidden, karmic and beyond conscious perception, the serpent's oceanic home perfectly symbolizes this realm. The harmonious connection between Loki's intellect and Jormungandr's primal essence gives Loki an unparalleled understanding of hidden forces at play in the world. He could not openly speak of the cosmic Ouroboros that held the world in place, but he could use the secret knowledge to navigate his own subversive path, leading him to have a tool for the unyielding will. Thus, the Mercury sextile Lilith in the 12th house is the tale of Loki's secret access to the profound, repressed wisdom of the Midgard serpent. It is a harmonious yet dangerous alignment. Very dangerous alignment. It is the gift of understanding the hidden, the instinctual, and the exiled, allowing for a cunning and potent mind that can see through the illusions of the order and know the truth of the underworld beneath the placid surface of the sea. And as I spoke in the beginning about a warning to the Word Witch, this is the myth of the Word Witch. In this mythic narrative, I'm going to be referencing some quantum aspects here. The green wavelength, 520 to 565 nanometers, representing the unyielding primal life force of the wild that is harnessed by Lilith herself to defeat an evil Word Witch. The Word Witch's power is rooted in her ability to impose an artificial, sterile reality through her magic words. But Lilith's power lies in the untamable, inherent truth of existence that cannot be confined by language. The Word Witch Once was a powerful sorceress who sought to impose order upon the chaos of creation. She believed that by naming things, she could control them, and that her words were the only true reality. Her magic created a world of rigid forms and predictable outcomes. Very predictable. Where every color, including green, served a purpose defined by her decrees. She sang the green of docile, domesticated plants and cultivated gardens, and her spells were designed to wither and demonize any growth that defied her control. The green she created was a pale, insipid imitation of true life itself, serving only to maintain her superficial order. The Word Witch, though, was seen as a symbol of established power and patriarchal control, using language to confine and limit the world. Enter in Lilith's wild and truthful green. Beneath the Word Witch's cultivated world, there was another green, the wild, untamed, primal green of Lilith. Lilith, cast out for her refusing to be subservient, was the embodiment of all that the Word Witch sought to control: instinct, raw nature, and unwritten reality. Lilith did not possess the Word Witch's spellbinding speech. Her magic was of a more fundamental nature. It was the life force that existed before language, a frequency that pulsed through the roots of the ancient trees, the rot of the forest floor, and the poisonous sap of wild herbs. This was the green light of the 520 to the 565 denominator, a resonant, energetic truth that the Word Witch's words could not define or contain. The silencing of the Word Witch. When the Word Witch saw that her manicured spoken reality was threatened by Lilith's unwritten wild green, she turned her magic upon Lilith, chanting spells to erase her from existence, containing Lilith, isolating Lilith, limiting Lilith. But as the Word Witch's words reached Lilith, they were not met with resistance, but with absorption. The wavelengths of green light representing the primal truth of Lilith began to hum and vibrate. The wild green of the forest deepened, becoming richer, more brilliant, and more potent than ever. The Word Witch's own words, which sought to confine and limit, were not silenced by a counterspell, but were simply overwhelmed by the raw, untamable essence of life itself. The magic of the Word Witch, a fragile edifice of spoken reality now, was dissolved by the simple, unyielding truth of Lilith's green. The Word Witch, finding her words empty and her power gone, was undone. Her carefully constructed world, stripped of its false green, began to decay. The wild green of Lilith, the true, unspoken reality of life, overgrew the ruins of the Word Witch's dominion. The vibrant wavelengths of the 520 to the 565 denominator became the enduring monument to Lilith's victory, a color representing the resilience of nature and the triumph of unspoken, instinctual truth over manufactured reality. That's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed today's lore. See you in the next one.